so much for being here. I'm Dave, your headmaster of horror, and today we're talking about the creepypasta Abandoned by Disney. I just came across it kind of doing research for my next video, and it's straight up creepy, like of the pasta variety. So this nameless person essentially found an old abandoned Disney theme park that had been abandoned for years at this point. And then upon doing research, they discovered that there was no real reason why the theme park was abandoned. It just was. Some speculate that there were deaths on the ground from rides or food or something like that. But nonetheless, the theme park was closed and everything was just shut down, almost like it was left one day, just no one came back for it. Years later, this explorer just kind of goes into the theme park, just kind of see what exactly it was that Disney left. And some of the things that were found are just downright terrifying. So initially, upon the discovery of the park, he noticed so much graffiti all over the park, wall to wall, and everything said abandoned by Disney, or abandoned, do not enter, enter at your own risk, not meant for life. All these really creepy messages and innuendos all over the walls in graffiti. As he continued on into the park, he started to see things like chains and scrap metal all over the ground, as in like they were holding something here with chains and it didn't want to stay captive after everything left. There's also the additive that some people say that there were snakes and lizards found left over from the reptile exhibit, that Disney just abandoned the animals there, and these animals essentially grew up in this environment. But I don't know how realistic that is. Nonetheless, eventually this explorer got to what is, I guess, the main building of the theme park, and he reluctantly went inside. One of the first things he noticed that on the ground looked like fresh footprints, like muddy footprints that led up and down the halls into different rooms, but there was something off about these footprints. They were not of normal shoes or work boots or something like that. They were almost something different. Something that was a little less human. As he continued on, he made his way and eventually found the kitchen. Now, the kitchen had been completely ransacked. Fridges had been torn apart. Food and wrappers had been left everywhere. But what was really strange was that there were meat hooks hanging from the ceiling. The weirdest part about it was that these meat hooks were swinging, as in something had almost just been through this area and had caused these meat hooks to swing. There were no windows for wind. There was no air conditioning, but something had moved these chains in order for them to swing. The explorer also noticed that some areas of this building, the power was still working, and so was the water, as in something went and turned back on the breakers in the water supply after the theme park was abandoned. Needless to say, something really wasn't right here. As he continued in the building, he finally found this staging area where Disney would put on elaborate shows using Disney copyrighted characters such as Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck. He noticed that the stage was covered in the same footprints as before, almost like someone had put on a show for nobody. As he went backstage, he finally found a dressing room that said, "For mascots only." As he tried to enter it, he noticed that the door was locked, and what it felt like that there were several locks on the inside keeping this door closed. As he went to walk away, he heard the door open behind him, and he turned around and slowly went in. He could barely see in the room, and using the light on his camera, he was able to see on the ground a decaying Mickey Mouse mascot suit that was just laying there covered in bugs and maggots. As in, it was actually at one point living, and now it's not. He went to go pick up the head of the Mickey Mouse suit, and out rolled a human skull. He got so scared he jumped back and immediately hit the door behind him, closing it, and all the locks slammed shut. And as he looked forward, he saw that the Mickey Mouse mascot suit that was on the floor was now standing in front of him, leaking yellow blood. And as he saw this incredibly terrifying and cryptic image in front of him, he noticed behind Mickey, written on the wall, was "Abandoned by God." Now, I know Disney has its secrets, and I know there are some creepy things embedded in Disney movies. But Abandoned by Disney is one of the creepiest Disney stories I've ever heard. And frankly, one of my favorites. What's the creepiest thing you know about Disney? Put it in the comments below, and if there's another creepypasta you want to hear about, put it in the comments below. Please go check out our merch, and thanks for stopping by. I'm Dave, still confused, and at least our dogs aren't werewolves.